And welcome back to Let's Play Mother, aka Earthbound Beginnings. Last time, we improved the state of public transit in the world and got our penultimate party member, Anna. Because it was late in the video, I didn't really spend any time going over what exactly Anna is capable of, but as you might have guessed, based on her force stat getting a lot of focus and just the fact that she had PSI points, she is our second PSI user and our last PSI user. Like Ninten, she is capable of telepathy, which is just, you can have Anna use telepathy in the situations where you need it, if you so desire. Unlike Paula from the sequel, Anna is actually a skilled healer, and for most of the game, and for the entirety of this playthrough, she is going to be a superior healer to Ninten. She already knows Life Up Beta, which Ninten doesn't learn until level 29, a level we're not liable to reach by the end of this LP. She also picks up all the good healing skills. I've made several references to her picking up Super Healing, the revival skill, and she picks up just a number of great support skills like PSI Shield Beta, which covers the entire party and PSI Shield. She gets a number of status afflicting spells that I don't really care to use, but she has pretty good wisdom, so she is reliably successful with them against the things that are weak to them. She can drain enemies' psychic points with PSI Magnet, and of course she has a wide variety of PSI spells. She's got the PK Freeze line, the PK Beam line, and the PK Thunder line. Functionally, these are all the same exact spell, single target damaging spells that increase in efficacy. Once she learns PK Beam Beta, that is a non-elemental spell that works on a wide array of enemies at full effectiveness, dealing 60 to 90 damage potentially. That is going to be her main form of offense. She also has a couple of unique variants of the PK Freeze spell and the PK Beam spell that will likely see PK Freeze Gamma by the end of the LP. Not so much PK Beam Gamma, but you already know what that does if an enemy has used it on you. Anyway, with all that establishment out of the way, we're taking a pretty risky side trip today. Now, most people, once they get Anna, they will gear her up and then return to Reindeer and Spookanewashington to take care of all of the business there. We are going to actually be doing that second. Potentially this is a long video, though you will already know that if you've glanced at the length of it. We have quite a lot of ground to cover today. For right now, we're heading to the Yucca Desert, and we have already reached the encounter pool for Yucca Desert, and we've already run into an enemy that I want to run from. Nancy. Nancy is ridiculously powerful, and very much not worth your time to fight. We are going to be burning through a lot of PSI points getting to our destination, but it will make the rest of the game a lot more efficient if I head to this area now. Up here, we've got Ultra Barbot, a guy who is actually worth our time to fight. We will have Lloyd Guard, and we will have Anna use PK Thunder Beta. Again, we'll mostly want to stick to PK Gamma or PK Beam Beta once we learn it. For right now, Thunder Beta is the best thing we got. If the enemy doesn't resist it, it's about 50 damage. We may as well try PK Freeze Beta. PK Freeze Beta tops out at about 40 damage, but there's a chance this guy doesn't resist it. Ultra Barbots are worth a pretty good amount of experience and money, and they aren't too threatening. Like the regular variety Barbots, they can potentially use PK Beam Gamma on you, but we have a 2 in 3 chance of just deflecting that back at him. Unfortunately, like the vanilla Barbots, he is also immune to it, but we will eventually run into something that will be toasted by its own PK Beam Gammas if it foolishly runs into our Franklin badges. Lloyd has a pretty good chance of getting pasted in this area because he doesn't really have good attacking options, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Anna is outfitted with the magic coin and the gold ring, while everyone else, Lloyd and Ninten, just has the gold rings right now, and obviously an H2O pendant. Now, because the music has switched over, we have formally reached the Yucca Desert area. We're going to be coming back here later because there's one thing we need to do, and then there's a handful of side quests that we can do. Here we've got Ultra Barbot and Energy Bot. Let me see here. I do want to try PK Freeze Beta. I was kind of just feeling out Ultra Barbot to see how much damage he deals. Ooh, scary. But the Energy Robot, as you can see, not a particularly threatening enemy. Mostly what it likes to do is try and heal its allies. Okay, it's not resistant to that. Energy Robot is another exploding enemy, and its explosion is reflective of PK Fire Beta, dealing around 60 damage when it blows up in your face, so you definitely want to be over 30 HP if you have the H2O pendants. You want to be over 30 HP to make sure you survive it. You can also guard, and occasionally he'll launch out some weak attacks, but we're not too threatened by that. Once the Ultra Barbot is down, we can just hit into it and then prepare for a nice bit of damage that's just going to be thrown in our face. As you can see, he frequently heals himself. His energy flow ability is akin to Life Up Beta. Let's see, keep going for the fights here, and we're going to hit him with PK Thunder Beta. So yeah, Anna is pretty vulnerable here. Oh, no. Yep, there we go. So, I'm actually just going to reload save, not because I need to, but because I, can, what is it? I can, save the trouble of going back to Magic Hand. So, one moment. On my way back, I've run into another encounter here, the Titanies. Despite their appearance, these are not insectoid-type enemies. I mean, they're giant scorpions, so, arachnids, technically not insects. So the super spray will not work on them. So just wanted to go over them. They're not worth fighting if there's two of them. They're just way too durable, highly defensive enemies that soak up hits. But if there's one of them, and Anna knows PK Beam Beta, that's worth fighting it out. Once again, we got a Nancy here. So other things I want to go over. As I was saying, we've got one mandatory task. Nancy smiles, darling smile, makes herself functionally immune to physical attacks after doing that. You can try to counter that with defense down beta or alpha, but I wouldn't really recommend trying. I would just recommend running from them, because you only get like 28 experience when you fight them. So the reason we have to take this roundabout trip, hey, Starman, we're actually getting an early preview of this guy, because we're supposed to be able to encounter him later. I've got so much that I want to go over, but the reason we're heading this way is because the bridge to Youngtown is broken, so we must take the roundabout way going past the Yucca Desert. But you do not have to go through the Yucca Desert right now to get to Youngtown. We can just head south a bit and meet up with the continuing path of the train tracks, and we're going to follow it into Youngtown. Various other things I'd like to go over. First off, taking it back to the Ultra Barbots, they have a chance to drop Plasma Beams, a item that Lloyd can use that replicates the effect of PK Beam Beta, allowing him to potentially hit that 90 damage threshold that Anna can get, but it is a limited use item. It has a random chance to break whenever you use it. It's not guaranteed to break, and it can potentially last quite a while, but it could also break on the first use of it, so if you're lucky, the Ultra Barbots can fill up your inventory with those. Other thing that I'd like to go over is that Anna is actually defensively not that incapable. Her speed is relatively decent, not as good as Ninten's, nowhere near in fact, but with a full defensive loadout, she has enough that she can survive glancing blows pretty effectively. However, because of her rock bottom fight stat, she often gets no fight at all from her level ups. In addition to dealing low physical damage, nice! Free PSI stone. That actually helps us out pretty considerably, depending on how many times I need to use 4th D slip. But because Anna has such a low fight stat, in addition to not dealing any physical hits because she has no derived offense, she is also incredibly susceptible to smash attacks. That is why I gave her the 2 physical capsules. That tops out her HP just enough that if she's at full health, she can probably survive most smash attacks that wouldn't just kill anyone anyway. Granted, that is conditional on her being at full health. Another PSI power for Ninten. We've been picking up a few, like various varieties of healing. Healing Gamma is actually relatively important here because it can cure the stone status. This is one of the first places where we can actually run into enemies that stone us. He also learns offense up. Like defense up, this increases your offense by a factor of about 90%. But it is way more useful than defense up. This can easily triple your damage. Very good skill. Anything else notable that we've gotten recently? Not really. That's about the long and short of it. I should be keeping myself topped off, especially because I got that free PSI stone. We are able to be a little bit more liberal with our PSI. We are going to end up with enough PSI power stones in our inventory by the end of the game to have as much as we need for as many usages of 4th D slip as we want to fit in. Here we've got Omega Saucers, the least threatening enemies in the area, so essentially just good money. And ooh, PK Beam Beta. These guys are not resistant to PK Beam Beta, so we can just torch them one by one with it. As you can see, they don't hit that hard, and they do have the ability to put up PSI shields, just like the little UFOs do, but that's not something I'm overly concerned about. With that, we're going to invert our actions a little bit here, have Lloyd do this. I'm going to have Anna actually just use Life Up Beta on herself, just to make sure she's topped off. Life Up Beta has doubled the effect of, there we go, that's exactly why I wanted to do something like that. Okay, that was lucky. But yeah, Anna is going to be seeing a lot of those for the playthrough. Life Up Beta costs 5 PSI points, but is roughly double in effectiveness compared to Life Up Alpha, so just a more effective thing overall. Was gonna have to use that on Anna anyway. I'm going to try to avoid having Anna use too much PSI, often guarding in the battles that I even plan to fight out. Here we've got a spider, and this guy we can use our super spray on, because he is an insectoid item. He'll cry out for help, but the super spray is a multi-targeting item, insta-kills insect enemies. Very potent. Sadly, does not work on the Titanies, would be quite helpful if it did. There is another insectoid item, well actually, you know what I'm thinking about it. These guys are arachnids also. Ooh, nice! Red snakes. Red snakes are rare enemies that are worth a ton of money and EXP if you can kill them, but they are prone to running away. Reasonably powerful. Once again, if Anna gets hit with a glancing smash attack here, she will be taken out. We'll get that one PK Beam beta in, and then I'm actually just going to have Anna guard, just to account for the potential of a smash attack. Not something that we had to worry about anyways, because, yeah, the red snake ran away. If you get lucky and run into a bunch of these guys, and they fail their runaway chances, you can actually get a pretty good profit point from them. Getting lucky with the encounters here, but yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, technically the super spray shouldn't really work on the spiders either if it doesn't work on the Titanies. Maybe the Titanies are robots and that why it doesn't work. I mean, I know that insect spray is just general purpose poison when you strip away the niceties from it, but yeah, no. Can I get an insight into the super spray? Nice. These guys have super high defense, so getting smash attacks on them to just blow right past that, super helpful. Combine that with PK Beam Beta, and we just get a nice quick kill there. Not exactly a profitable one. Yeah, the main thing you'd like to run into are Ultra Barbots. It's not a big deal if Lloyd gets toasted with PK Beam Gamma. And the Ultra Barbots, worth the most experience and money by far in anything in this area. And again, the potential for plasma beams, and hey, that was actually a pretty uneventful trip. Not too bad. We had one bad moment, but, you know, just had to load save, and I was fine there. The trains have stopped. The track was ruined. It's the end of the world, and you just ask questions. Stop asking so many questions, or I'll start to cry. Yeesh. Histrionic guy over here. We'll leave him to it. I guess he's out of the job right now, and he's just been alone, waiting for a train that will never come. Kind of tragic when you think about it. But in this overgrown area, we can make our way to Youngtown, and hey, one last Ultra Barbot for the road. Now that we have PK Beam Beta, we can deal much more damage to this guy, because he's immune to PK Beam Gamma, not actually resistant to the PK Beam Betas. It's actually rather annoying that he's focus firing on Anna, because again, like, Anna is so susceptible. It's a pure RNG roulette there. Luckily, gave us enough experience to get another level up for Anna there. Doing pretty good. We are, thankfully, done with all the grinding we need to do for about 2 videos. Once we get the final party member of the game, I am going to have to hunker down and grind once again, because we are probably going to be way behind the level curve for where the game expects us to be. Anyway, with a nice little music change, and one of the best songs in the game, honestly, we've made it to Youngtown. Halt, who goes there? Boo-hoo! All of the residents of Youngtown, perhaps not surprisingly, are children. Or maybe surprisingly, because please bring back our mom and dad. Please, I beg you. These children do not actually run ship here. They are just children who are isolated from the world because their parents have been kidnapped. Please hold me. How ironic, the parents are the ones who are kidnapped. In the Japanese version, this place has a less unfortunately prophetic name in Easter. Not really sure what it has to do with Easter, but probably, again, just general holiday theming. Hold me. Hold me. So many people want to be held, but I only have 2 arms here. Hold me too. I'm being overwhelmed and overstimulated here. Please, let me please be a little bit more independent, girl, are you? A big ship from the sky took Mom and Dad away. Well, at least we get a little bit more insight. Hey, wasn't Anna's mother supposed to be here? If all the adults are missing, I heard my dad's voice coming from the mountains. But the mountains are beyond the town of LA. It's so far away, I can't make that journey. Hey, was that the mountain we saw at the top of Marysville? Things are starting to come together. Connections are being formed. Where's my mommy? Where's my daddy? Over here, this house is pretty notable. This contains the reason we've made this trip out here. Mom told me this baby has mystic power. I'm assuming you're talking about the baby on the bed there. Easter? I guess if you squint hard enough, look sideways, maybe that could count as a manger. Yeah, it's just a bed. Oh yes, my name is Tom Garrickson. I like to introduce myself. It's my hobby. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, obviously, the baby does not have much in the way of words. However, mystical power. We happen to have mystical powers all our own. Yes, even though my body is that of a baby. Like you, I possess psychic abilities. I know the power of teleportation. Use this power to return to a place you've been to. The baby taught them his power of teleportation. Yes, this baby, powerful psychic that he is, Cyborg 001 over here, he gives us the ability to teleport. Teleport, if you've played Earthbound, you'll know that it is a spell that causes you to dash forward, and with enough clearance, you will warp to an area you've previously been to, like your home. Without enough clearance, though, Yeah, that happens. Not a big deal, though it does actually allow you a form of bypassing random encounters, as you cannot get into encounters while attempting to teleport. If you are well acquainted with the spacing of the areas you're in, you can actually use that to maneuver around in relative safety, though I feel like the amount of experience it takes to actually know how to do that effectively probably would take more time to learn than it would to just beat the game organically. Inside the chateau of Youngtown, there is nothing of note. Sadly. Not much reason to be faithful in this situation, I suppose. Something's very strange with the Garrickson baby. Something very strange indeed. Already a couple steps ahead of you there, kiddo. Well, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 8 minus 4 equals 4. I study all the time. Over by the Jack's Inn, that apparently it's a chain. We saw one of these in Snowman also. Well, Dad isn't home and I don't care about money, so if you need a place to stay, feel free to stay here tonight. Oh, okay, I'll take you up on the offer. Don't let the bedbugs bite. Hey, you got a future in this, kid. Good morning. Please come back again someday. If you do, I may not get quite so lonely here. Now you made me sad. Gotta work on that customer hospitality. One adult that managed to survive the mass abduction is the shopkeep, and he has a pretty interesting item here. Not the nonstick frying pan, that is again weaker than the boomerang, but he sells the air gun. That is Lloyd's ultimate weapon, sitting at a pretty solid 42 attack power, 10 more than the boomerang, and let's see here, we do have enough money to just buy it outright. So, Lloyd's ultimate weapon is unique, and that's the only one that you can purchase, and you get it the earliest by far. The remaining ultimate weapons of the game are located in the final dungeon, so nice little leg up for Lloyd there. Not a huge offense bonus, but still an appreciable one. Actually, how much money do we have in the bank again? I think I had 2,400, so I don't have enough to get a magic coin, I don't think. Yeah, not enough to get to a magic coin. There is no return here, but that's okay. So we can transfer the air gun over to Lloyd and equip it. One conspicuous absent from Anna's inventory is, of course, a weapon, and that's because, well, she has pretty negligible fight to begin with, so negligible offense by extension, but since we have a free boomerang on hand anyway, or a boomerang that we can hand me down, may as well hand that over to her. With that taken care of, if only there was a way we could use our teleport spell with near infinite clearance in any situation. Well, as it so happens, we have an onyx hook, which allows us to warp back to Magicant, and then if we just head out into the town outskirts, we can of course just line up here, use teleport, send ourselves back to Marysville, and yeah, you have enough clearance right here to just teleport, so that is my preferred way of fast traveling in the game now. Onyx hook back to Magicant, and then we can just teleport at the town outskirts in order to get to where we need to go. I'm going to withdraw a little bit more money from the bank and get us back to Reindeer so we can properly check that town out. And here we are, back on the track to Reindeer. I just pulled out about enough money to get back to Reindeer, partially because we can actually just walk to Spookanewashington in complete safety and save ourselves a little bit of money, but also we have a pretty good money-making venture coming up here, so I didn't really need to withdraw too much from my account. There's not really anything I care to buy in Reindeer, though there are some interesting things to purchase within Reindeer. We'll go over that. Go ahead, poke your nose into other people's business. It's what makes playing the game so fun. I know, right? Over here, this guy. If I can line up with him. High in the mountains lives an old man. Legends say he hasn't had a cold in 300 years. Apparently, he has also discovered the secret to immortality. The old man on the mountain is so generous, he'll give you as much as you can possibly carry. Of what, though? As you might imagine, that is the main side quest for Reindeer. Hey! Finally encountered him, the Fugitive. The Fugitive is worth a ridiculous amount of money. We're going to be walking away from this pretty flush with cash, honestly. The Fugitive is worth, I think it's like $360 or so dollars. The rope that is with them is also worth $80 itself, so this is a $400 encounter to get. If you're trying to get money as fast as possible, you can train north of Marysville and hope you run into these guys, though the odds are pretty low. You do at least have a chance to run into bag ladies, who are also worth $50 or $150 themselves. But anyways, as I was trying to say, Reindeer is a completely optional area. We've already gone over this. Getting Anna's hat in general and recruiting her, also completely optional. But Reindeer itself does not have anything required for your quest in it. That doesn't mean it's a useless place to go to, but if you're just trying to get through the game as quickly as possible, you can pretty safely ignore this place. You thought I was going to beg for food, didn't you? I wouldn't do that, even though I am ever so hungry. Once again, mixed messages. We just keep getting them constantly. Let's see, over here. I wish that I had a bicycle. Again, you gotta wait until, Earthbound for that kind of thing. Or did we run into another guy who was lamenting about a bicycle? I might be getting it mixed up with one of my own personal playthroughs. When you replay a game a ton, and then you record videos for it, the playthroughs start to bleed together a little bit, so it can be easy to lose track of what you've done where. What do you got for me, madame? I love this town. Wouldn't be caught dead in Spookanewashington. Ha ha! Washington, am I right? The store will buy good medicine for good money. Okay, a little interesting trivia there. Oh yeah? Are you ready? Alright, hit me, my guy. Hey, wanna hear my song? Song? Is this something important? The good-looking boy sang a quite unique song. Newton did not want to remember this strange melody. Well, that was a wash. Over here. I love life in the city. I look so great in cute dresses. Hey, I love somebody who has excess of self-confidence. Now, we're going into the store real quick, just popping in to check out a specific, area. The sports goods store does not sell anything new or more powerful than what we already have, but this guy at the top floor, welcome to our shop. We sell weapons, and he sells, the item, or rather the action items that Lloyd can utilize. Bombs, laser beams, which replicates PK Beam Alpha, and then the plasma beams that we could potentially get from the Barbots. Sorry, had a hiccup there. If you want Lloyd to be very effective in battle, you can put some of your excess cash into getting a supply of plasma beams. If you have about 3 or so, he can pretty reliably use them in battle, and then you can hit a next checkpoint by the time they're all broken to return to Reindeer and buy more. We're going to be getting pretty good money from everything at this stage of the game. Hey kid, just hold on to this money for me. Don't tell the cops or anyone about it. Alright. Don't run away with it. Ah, boy, you made a big mistake, my friend. What do you got for me over here, good sir? There's a flu going around here. Cover your mouth. God damn. And, looks like, we've got a bit of a cold here. If only we had a way to treat that. Oh, well. Oh, I'm so full. Over here, we got this old lady. Let's just chat her up real quick. Hey, stay still. Would you like to make a donation to my charitable fund? You do not get an option to donate to the charitable fund. Have you seen the woman with the big belly? Can't say I have. She ate 5 pizzas, then ran away without paying. If you see her, let me know. Okay, I'll keep an eye out, I guess. Let's see. I don't want to talk to this girl just yet. I actually want something on hand before I do that. Huh. You seem a little tight-lipped here. Anna, can you please extract some information? Did you hear the dragon's lullaby? This is your hint that you can get something from the dragon. Did you see the man with the slick mustache? He's a swindler. Please let me know if you see him. I'm actually going to pop into the fast food place here. Do you have anything interesting to say? It's cash, then carry around here, boy. It's not that I don't trust you, but... Okay, I'll pay up front. Anyways, we're just going to get the cheapest item on the menu here, an orange juice, and we're going to talk to that girl that I passed over. We get a pretty interesting item from her if we provide her something, and she's not looking for anything in particular. She'll even say so. Check it out. Give me something, whatever it is, just give it to me. Gimme. Please give me. Why won't you give it to me? I said please? Okay, I promise I'll give you something in return. What are you going to give me? Well, have this nice, refreshing orange juice. Thanks a lot. To show my gratitude, I'll give you this flea bag. Please take it. The flea bag is an interesting item. You can potentially win these from stray dogs earlier in the game. What the flea bag does is a combination of, PK defense down alpha and offense down, which is actually not something you are typically able to use in the game. There is no offense down spell. This is your only way to utilize that effect. And it's not super interesting in the North American version of the game, in Earthbound Beginnings, but in the Japanese version, there's a pretty well-known trick you can do with flea bags. Ugh, you startled me. For college credit, I study indoor architecture. That's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Sure, he's staring in that window for purely academic reasons, I'm sure. This is a residential area. Please keep quiet. Fine, fine. Everybody I'm coming across these days just nag, nag, nag. I remember walking through the tunnel when I was young. I went to see what was on the other side. You must be made of sturdier stuff than we are, though I suppose before all this happened, there probably weren't any monsters in the tunnel. Somewhere in the town of Spookanewashington. I heard that there's a ghost house! Don't you ever dare go there. I think I might dare go there. What are you gonna do about it, lady? Let me see. We haven't talked to you, have we? Have you ever thrown food out into the field? Well, it's a game, but it's pretty wasteful. Fair enough, fair enough. I've only thrown out the phone card. We're going to use Healing Alpha here on Ninten to cure him up. Oh, no, not Healing Alpha, Life Help Alpha. I get that confused sometimes. I remember I got a game over in Chrono Trigger when I was young because I got a bunch of heals from the store, not realizing that it was tonics that restored your HP. Gotta love that little inversion of the nomenclature in RPGs. Thank you, Final Fantasy. Okay, moving on over here. Now that we've chatted up the locals, we can get into the main side quest of, Reindeer. We heard mention of the old man in the mountains, and indeed, if you head west from the train tracks, you'll find that it continues onward into a, what power did we get for Anna there? Into a mountainous area. Let me see. Life Up Gamma, very potent Life Up variant. It is a full heal to a single target. There is actually a multi-targeting variant of Life Up that we'll be seeing eventually. Oh hey, this sign right here, gotta check it. Healer's House, west. Reindeer Station, east. Reindeer Town, south. All mostly information that we already knew. Where we want to go is north of the Healer's House. That is where the side quest that we want to take care of is located. Alright, take out that psycho car while I'm at it. Nice to see that Ninten can just total cars with a single toss of his boomerang. Kid has got some serious gains. It's always worth a good laugh when an enemy tries to use a PSI block on Lloyd. Don't get much mileage out of that. Anyways, heading past the Healer's House, let's hit Ninten with a Life Up Beta. There. But yeah, we do eventually get a multi-targeting Life Up spell, and what I was trying to say is that Ninten does eventually learn all the healing in the game. I believe I mentioned this earlier in the video. He does eventually learn it, but the levels you need to get to learn it all, way too high, way overkill for the entire game, just not really worth your time to go into. Nice thing that he didn't, it was nice that he didn't use that shield on himself. Tried to be altruistic. Nice to see that Lloyd is just capping these UFOs out of the sky. Now that he's got his airsoft gun in a ton of levels, he's actually hitting pretty decently hard. Ninten will always overtake him a little bit just because he has that huge fight advantage, but Lloyd does take considerably less experience to level up than Ninten. He's already pretty close to Ninten's level, and if we get enough experience gained with him in the party, he will probably eventually overtake him, and Anna definitely will. She levels up incredibly quickly. Alright, once we reach this mountainous region, start heading up the hills here and you'll find a rather large house that is surprisingly small on the inside. Can't understand a word the old man says either. It can't be that bad, can it? Hey old man, what's up with you? He seems to be having some issues there. Let's see if we can't help him out. Now, if we head down this path here, you may have noticed that sign off to the left. That is our destination for this little side quest. Again, this is purely a side quest. This is just for the fun of it. Everything in Reindeer, totally optional, but in the sake of thoroughness, I may as well show it off. And there is actually a pretty strong and literal profit point from engaging in this little diversion, so it is not a waste of your time if you're looking to gear up the rest of your party, and we will finally be able to afford some magic coins for, Lloyd and Ninten after this little mini quest is over. It's actually been quite some time since we had the opportunity, or what am I trying to say here? Not really trying to say it's quite some time. Now that we have gotten so far in the game, it's not really necessary for us to be able to get a ton of money, or God, I am wording this horribly. What I'm trying to say is we get money faster now, and we can probably pretty naturally get the funds we need to purchase make our remaining equipment purchases without any dedicated just hunkering down and beating up enemies to afford things. That's the sentiment I was trying to get across. I'm trying to pad out the walk here and deal with these delightful skunks that we come across. You can see why I sometimes just blank out some of the encounters. It gives my brain a second to rest and catch up with itself. Of course, then I have to remember the thought I was on before the encounter began. There we go. Skunks are taken care of. Now, once we round this path here, we can examine the sign and find, now entering the Mislay Triangle, the formal name of this area. Watch out! Someone lost his dentures right under the sign. The dentures are slid right into our inventory. I've played Pokemon before, so I think... Hey, old man, do these dentures belong to you? So nice to have my dentures back once more. Your reward? With you, I'll share my secret to long, long life. Gargle often, gargle proud, gargle strong. And if you catch a cold, gargling will help. Here is a mouthwash I concocted myself, take it. And you may be hearing a ton of tings there. He is loading our inventory with mouthwash. Everybody is getting mouthwash. And this leads to a pretty interesting profit opportunity, because mouthwash sells for a pretty good amount of money. It's a relatively expensive consumable. Speaking of, we can use the mouthwash to cure Ninten's cold. I'm not sure how accurate this is to any real form of medical science. Personally, whenever I've tried to use mouthwash while I had a cold, it just makes me want to vomit, but whatever. If you talk to the old man again, may you live a long life. Maybe we have to leave the building. Once you've returned his dentures and gotten the initial mouthwash collection, mouthwash again, here it is, go ahead, take it. But I have to charge you $10 this time. Gargle, 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 splash. You can buy mouthwash from the kid at a price of $10. Mouthwash normally costs, I think it's $88, and you can, what is it? It's normally close to $200. You can buy it for $10 here and then sell it back for about $88. So every mouthwash can be sold about a $78 profit point, and that is sort of an infinite money trick you can do here. Now, I think this is a little too tedious to really commit to. I don't really care to do it, but this initial windfall of mouthwash, this initial mouthwash reward, we can sell this for pretty good money. So let's make our way back to Reindeer real quick. Go through the tedious process of completely liquidating our mouthwash. And you see what I did there? Mouthwash is a liquid, and we're liquidating it into funds. Well, I'm going through the tedious process of selling all the mouthwash here. I should note that, since we don't really have any other thing to go over in the Famicom version of Mother at this point, is that they actually did slightly improve the shop interface for buying. The option to continue conducting business with a shop vendor after your initial purchase is not a thing in Mother. So, like with the Magicant vendors, you have to scroll through their rather tedious text spiel every single time you want to buy a singular item from them. If you want to buy multiple things in a row, you have to hear them say, give them the cash, and with the goods you can dash every single time in the Japanese version. Earthbound Beginnings added it in so that they will ask you if you want anything else. Just an interesting little detail that might not come up, or it might slip my mind before the game ends. And finally, the final mouthwash. Our final total for funds is $18.70, meaning I only need to withdraw a few hundred more dollars in order to afford 2 more magic coins for Lloyd and Ninten. And we are going to do that before we head off into the next area. So let me just get the money here real quick, and then we will resume our proper journey. Look at those defense stats. Beautiful. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, Lloyd's low speed really hindering him. Anna has almost caught up with him in defense, despite him having a 6th level advantage. Anyways, I'll quickly heal up, and then let's hit the road again. And here we are, back at the train station. Now, I definitely have more than enough money to afford train tickets at this point, but you know what? We're not going to run into any of the more difficult enemies located in the tunnels, so why don't we just walk a little bit? I mean, I think Anna could potentially use the exercise. Heading into Spokane, the encounter pool gets a little bit more difficult, though not anything we really can't handle. With the kind of offenses we have at our disposal at this point, we can actually pretty efficiently take out all these enemies in a single round of combat. So Ninten takes out that one eagle. Anna, of course, gets pasted with a smash attack. Like, again, it's really annoying when the enemy decides to bully Anna. I kind of suspect some enemies have a form of focus AI. What that means is that they designate a target, and then they just focus them and not target anyone else for this battle. I'm reasonably confident the wolf-type enemy works like that. Such enemies did exist in the Dragon Quest games, which is a very much something that this game crimps a lot of its ideas from, very, very obviously so. Oh, hey, this is actually an enemy that I have not seen on recorded footage, or at the very least, not what outside of a dedicated grinding section I might have been doing within the context of a video. Cougars. These guys are really fast, but that's about all there is to them. It takes quite a while before any of your characters are capable of outspeeding them. Ninten will probably be able to do it pretty soon, but by the time he is able to do it, we're probably not going to be encountering any more of them. The other major encounter that you can find once heading out into Spookane is that you're liable to run into a set of, or a barbot, and 3 little UFOs. Not exactly an intimidating encounter, but you know there's more of it. Note that Anna will eventually get a multi-targeting skill in PK Fire. PK Fire Alpha is really weak, honestly. It's got like 20 damage. And PK Fire Beta is learned so late in the game that you're never really going to use it. And then there's PK Fire Gamma and PK Fire Omega, which, again, absurdly late. Let me see here. Do we already have Healing Gamma? I'm pretty sure we did. I'm just looking over to see what we might have gotten here. I'm actually not sure what we got from that level up. The game never tells you directly what PSI power you got, so it's actually pretty easy to lose track of what you did and didn't have. Maybe we didn't have Healing Gamma. No, I'm pretty sure we did. That's a spot the difference challenge for you viewing at home. What PSI power did I get there? Now the tracks are feeding into Spookane proper, and you're gonna notice pretty quickly something different about Spookane compared to other town areas we've been to. Not too strange that we're running into encounters on the tracks, but once you are in the vicinity of the buildings, you will start running into random encounters. And also, wow, this is actually the 3rd bear I've encountered in a row, so that's $750 I've just gotten. That is a pretty obscene cash windfall. We've been just been getting rich. For all the money that I've had to grind for, it's kind of ridiculous we're getting all these valuable encounters. Now, the northern section of Spookane does not have anything of interest in it. There's just a bunch of buildings that you cannot enter, and of course, enemies to deal with. By the way, if you don't need Anna, or it's not more efficient to have Anna do anything, always have her guard to mitigate incoming damage. Guarding is one of the few ways that you can actually mitigate the damage from smash attacks. It'll just flatly have any damage you take, even if it's normally defense piercing. So if I don't need Anna to smoke something with PK Beam Beta, I'll just have her guard. Let's see here. Oh, no, I can't talk to the sign. Unfortunately, as much as I try, it doesn't talk back. Spookane Downtown is to the west, and Spookane Residential is to the east. Well, if we go into the areas people live, we might find a little bit about what's going on here. Now, the hospital is lacking in any nurse, so you cannot revive people at this hospital. There is at least a physician on duty, though, so if you're suffering from any status ailments, you can be cured in that way. By the way, most buildings like hospitals and inns do have rooms you can explore, but they never have any NPCs or items in them, so they're just kind of there for set dressing more than anything else. This is going to be a long and boring encounter. Let me cut it out. Not long in the sense that it was complicated, just this game has pretty sluggish combat sometimes, so even simplistic encounters like this can take a while, especially if you are playing on the lower message speeds. Would not recommend, would not recommend. Over here we've got a hotel, and creepy music for a hotel. This guy looks a little odd, a little desaturated, truth be told, but hey, $18 for the night? That's a steal. Let's go. Sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. Good joke, good joke. I've heard it before, though. Thank you very much. And then he attacks us. This guy was actually a Starman in disguise, and perhaps to his detriment, he actually gave us an opportunity to fully heal up there, so not exactly sure what his plan was, but hey, points for creativity, I suppose. I would not have thought that the Starman had the, how shall we say, the creativity to try and impersonate a hotel operator, but hey, it's a relatively cheap heal, not quite a free one, but pretty close to it. You know, it's been interesting playing this alongside the original Japanese release, because I kind of start to wonder if there are any subtle things that you might not think about that were tweaked also, because I've been noticing that Ninten is a bit more consistent about killing things, at lower levels. Either the enemies have like slightly lower HP, or the damage ranges are slightly modified in that version. That might just be paranoia or confirmation bias on my part. Regardless, have you heard that there is a ghost house typo in Spokane? Yeah, actually. I heard a spooky tale about that vacant house. They say that the piano still plays a haunting melody. Okay. I realized that I made a slight mistake by not getting some money, but it's not a big deal. I'm the Jolly Postman. La 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 la. Have you heard the Rosemary's new address? La 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 la. Hey, I like a guy who's enthusiastic about his job, honestly. Now, we don't know the Rosemary's new address, but if you talk to this girl over here, the postman who seeks the forwarding address, that the Rosemarys have moved far away. La 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 la. You can't actually inform the postman that the Rosemarys have moved away, sadly. That is not a little mini quest for you to resolve there. The owners of the ghost house were the Rosemarys. Thank you. A ghost appeared at my house, too. But he didn't stay long. He thought my room was too small. Well, discerning Goldilocks-type ghost, I suppose. I'm the only clown in Spokane. Everyone else is so serious. Nah, I wouldn't say so. Is that right? I may be the true pessimist myself. Tears of a clown. Ninten, I am Pagalachi. My house is filled with monsters, mostly ghosts. That's why we live in the life in the great outdoors now. Okay. Lady, what have you got for me? Oh, you're such a charming boy. Just looking at you makes me feel so confident. I'm sure you'll bring that house into control. Here's the key to it. Hey! And if you look in our inventory, we've got the ghost key. You need this to get into the Rosemary Manor, so be sure to talk to that girl. You just kind of have to ask around to get clues, and eventually you'll stumble into her. Over here, we've got a pretty funny NPC. Actually, I'm going to make a save state real quick. So once again, just pausing the action as I bring up my drop-down menu that you can't see, and making a save state. Okay, lady, what do you got for me? I'm not a resident of this town. I am your assistant. Maybe you forgot to write something down. I will sell you a hint for only $1,000. $1,000 for a hint? Get lost. Oh, you don't need anyone's help, do you? Fine and dandy. You can color me gone. Okay, that was oddly literal. She might be a forgotten woman. Hey, forgotten man, I think I found your soulmate. Yeah, if you don't pay for her hint, she just pieces out. A little bit funny, so I just wanted to show that off. Once we're done with our business here, I will go get the $1,000 to pay her, just to see what she does give you. But right now, I'm a man on a mission. I've got a ghost house to explore, and that is what that is what I'm going to do. Private property, signed the Rosemarys. That sign's not gonna stop me, because while I can read, I'm afraid obedience was never one of my virtues. Doing our part for the ever-increasing depopulation of the eagles. Anyways, just give a little bit of life up to Lloyd there, taking a few licks here and there from eagles. Do eagles even have tongues? I think they do. I never really think too much about bird anatomy, honestly. I'm pretty sure avians do have tongues. And over here, walk into the door, you will find it is locked, but we have a handy-dandy ghost key. Now, the ghost key, like our basement key, does not actually clear from our inventory, and you do need to use it every single time if you want to enter the Rosemary Manor. This place is pretty infamous, up there with Duncan's factory. It's not quite as large as Duncan's, but the layout is even more repetitive and confusing. But if you know where to go, you can get through here very easily. There's only one enemy encounter that is super threatening that I'd be really concerned about if I ran into, and we might be able to get through it without it at all. Since that is a possibility, I'm just going to say it. If you run into two knights, I would honestly, two armor suits or knights, I forget what their exact name is, but regardless, if you run into it, what you want to do is just use 4th D-Slip, most likely, unless you are really over-leveled and have the ability to outspeed them with Ninten. Cast PSI Shield Beta on Anna, or if you have Defense Up Beta, you want to set up both Defense Up and PSI Shield Beta against them because they hit hard, and they have PK Thunder Beta, which can hit for upwards of 50 damage. Pretty nasty. I'm just an ordinary mouse. The room with the piano. Mouse doesn't have any further hints for us. So, Rosemary Manor, again, is a interconnected series of rooms, all looking pretty samey. Now this bionic bat counter, thankfully, even though they're offset to the left like that, that is just to communicate to you that they can potentially call in backup. They don't necessarily will, but they can. The Rosemary Manor is an interconnected series of rooms that are all pretty samey looking, but if you know the route to get through them, you can get through here fairly quickly. And I'm just going to spare you the trouble. Now this time I actually... Ooh, there we go. Lloyd is, he's a little absent at this point because he's just been stoned. Fortunately, we happen to learn Healing Gamma recently, so we don't need to head out to a healer to take care of Lloyd here. So yeah, if you know the way to get through here, it's actually relatively quick to get through this place. Ah, here we go. Armor. Just the one of them. Just the one of them. What I'm actually going to do here is something a little counterintuitive. I'm actually going to use PSI Shield Alpha on Anna here, and then I'm actually going to have her cast right into PSI Shield Beta to make sure everybody is shielded. This guy hits hard. Yeah, like that. Like so. Ah, that's bad, actually, because he might actually, if he gets another attack off on Anna, he might actually just kill her outright. Ah, that is bad luck to start. Fortunately, we can, mostly get around this guy. Let's see, PK Thunder Beta, don't hit Anna, don't hit Anna, don't hit Anna, thank you. Yeah, if I hadn't had the PSI shields up, that would have dealt 60 damage there. It's a range of like 50 to 60. With that now taken care of, we can be pretty safe against anything this guy does. Even if he hits a smash attack again on Anna, it's only gonna be around 30 damage this time, perfectly survivable. But as you can see, this guy is actually really quick. Now, if you run into two of these, at this current stage, what I'd recommend doing, honestly, is just having everybody except Ninten guard, and then just have Ninten use 4th D-slip to get the hell out of there. These guys are it's not worth fighting the double encounter. They are pretty valuable, though, if you can beat them, worth a lot of experience and a lot of money. Mostly, we're just going to want to hope to avoid as many of these as possible. Now, I actually can't give props to Starfighter 76 at this point. Remember, he's contributed over 5,000 maps to, GameFAQs, because he actually made a pretty pronounced error with his map for this area. It is a valid map if you flip it upside down. For whatever reason, he formatted it backwards, and it has you going in the opposite direction based on the way he's oriented it. Here we've got an Alarm Ghost. This is another guy who can call in enemies. Most of the time, he'll just call in basic ghosts, the same ones that we fought in the Podunk Cemetery. But he can also call in zombies. There are new zombie enemies here, and the more threatening one is the nasty zombie, who hits pretty hard. Anyways, the route you want to take to get through here... Oh, hey, cutting into the encounter now, he did, in fact, just call in a zombie for us. These guys aren't too bad. They're relatively weak. We can just hit into them and use PK Beam Beta to take them out. Again, the more threatening encounter involving zombies is actually when you encounter them naturally, and they are flanked by a nasty zombie. Actually, pretty unfortunate that Anna got hit with confusion there. She has a pretty high force stat, so she rarely gets hit by that. Anyways, to get through Rosemary's Manor, you'll never make it. You have to go up twice, and then you just have to take... And then you can just take the downward path. Another armor that I ran into, and another bit of damage onto everyone. Again, if you run into the two armors, 4th D-slip. Just do that. And yeah, once you know how to get through the Rosemary Manor, it's actually a very, very simplistic dungeon. Very quick. There are a lot of items you can get at the dead ends, but not really anything I feel like is worth getting. There's a lot of antidotes, some life-up creams. Turn back. And there are various messages you can get throughout certain hotspots throughout the Rosemary Manor. I don't think any of these comments are really interesting enough to be worth stepping over. I'm trying to be a bit more thorough than when I played this game as a teenager, but there are certain things that I just really can't be bothered to deal with, because it's not really worth the time. It does not really reward the effort. It's about 10 seconds of content for several minutes more of effort. I don't feel like mapping out all the dialogue hotspots here. I apologize. Bit of a faux pas on my part, if you will. Anyways, we're already at the end here, and we have found the piano with a haunting melody to it. Let's just check it real quick. Oh, hey, actually, new enemy here. Dustball. This guy does nothing, and then once you deal enough damage to him, he explodes. The only thing notable about him is that he has pretty good defense. If Lloyd decides to smash right through him, well, you know, that speeds up the explosion process. Fortunately, it's a Widow-type explosion, so it's only around 30 damage, as opposed to the 60 damage an energy robot would do if it exploded on you. Anyway, check this piano here. Hey, it's been a while since we got one of those. The piano began to play all by itself, and we got a melody to remember. So we had a wash with that guy in Reindeer, but we did end up finding another melody eventually. With that taken care of, we're actually done with everything we need to do in Spookane. This was the extent of it. As always, we can just use our onyx hook to get on up out of here, and then we can return to, our quest. Our next destination is Yucca Desert, which again, there's one thing we need to do there, and then several side quests we can also do. But before we do that, let me go get some money, and let's check out a dangling bit of business in Spookane that's not necessary to do, but it is a bit of thoroughness that I'm willing to engage with. Hey, lady, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot last time. You said you needed $1,000, right? Come on, here, take it. I can sell only 3 hints. Discover the rest yourself. The ghost house is not a place for slaying monsters. There is a melody. A haunting melody. So yeah, you can get a few hints from her if you are truly lost. Say no to her once though, and she permanently blinks out of existence. Granted, that wasn't a super helpful hint, because everybody here is kind of talking about the Ghost Manor, and you know, it's pretty, sooner or later you're gonna find the room you need to be in. I guess she's also trying to hint at the armors there. Anyways, with all that taken care of, let's return to Magicant again, and let's head back to our new base of operations in Youngtown. It's relatively close to the Yucca Desert. I'd say it's probably about the same distance from the desert itself as just starting from in Marysville. Oh man, I'm getting into an encounter here. Grucho, please don't. I don't feel like dealing with you, Grucho. Go die. Sorry. Just to note that Grucho's experience, if you wait for him to say hi, only goes to one character. So Youngtown, about roughly the same distance from Yucca Desert as Marysville is, if we're being completely honest. Just slightly more difficult encounters on the way. We'll swing by the chateau and find some solace in here, and that is where we'll leave the video. As always, hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.